What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Man, this show was absolutely horrible. Absolutely pathetic. AEW Dynamite for August the 16th was an absolute abomination of a wrestling show. The only thing that was good was Chris Jericho and Don Callis, as well as MJF and Adam Cole. Outside of those two instances and those two segments, this show fucking sucked. It sucked. I understand it was for Maui. I get that, okay? I get that. I understand that. Tony Khan didn't have to mention that. He didn't have to do a special show. He could have easily donated $5 to maybe $10 million and sent that to the food banks to Maui and Hawaii, because everybody knows what's going on in that situation. I get it. I understand it. All right, that's a noble cause, but we are a week and a half away from All In, which, if we're being honest, feels like a Dynamite. The entire build feels like a Dynamite. Nothing feels prestigious or anything like that. It's just thrown together. That's it. And it's absolutely pathetic. I feel bad for the people who have to pay $50 to watch this shit. I feel bad for the people who are going to be there in attendance. I doubt if it will be 80,000 people. It might maybe 30 or 40, but it's not going to be damn 83,000 people in that stadium. It's not going to happen. It's just not. And then you got to pay an extra $50 the following week to watch All In. But this is what I said for months on my channel. I tell you guys all the time to go out and buy a Fire Stick. And there are programs that you can download on Fire Stick that allow you to watch pay-per-views for free. All you have to do is just maybe pay the fee, which for me is like $25 a month. And I have it for 2 TVs that I own. And it makes, perfect sense. It's simple to operate and use. And Fire Sticks are worth it. Worth it. So I can watch as much things as I want. And I only have to pay $25 a month. That's a steal. But this just feels like a Dynamite. All In feels like a Dynamite. And it's so much fucking drama with CM Punk acting like a complete asshole like he always does. He is a complete and utter cancer to the industry as a whole. The man is selfish. It's not looking for good for AEW right now. I'm not gonna hold you guys up. It's not looking good for AEW at all. Period. Point blank. This is absolutely pathetic. What we got last night. Absolutely pathetic. This is a damn shame. This is an absolute damn shame. AEW is definitely on the decline. Definitely. Tons of people are pissed about certain segments that happened on the show. We'll talk about that when we get there. Let's just go ahead and get into this shit show of a show. All right. We kicked the show off with Orange Cassidy, like we always do, defending the AEW International Championship against Wheeler Yuta. We saw this maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I believe. So Orange Cassidy gets the win. He wins via a sunset flip for the 1-2-3. Post-match, the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club come out. The best friends, they come out there, they're dancing and all this stuff. It takes them forever to get out. And mind you, I didn't even watch the match. I'm just reading, the notes that I have in front of me right now. Then the Lucha Bros, they come out, they do the exact same thing. Then there's a brawl that takes place. Eddie Kingston comes out, he makes the save, and so they end up doing a stadium stampede match. Stadium stampede in the arena. This makes zero sense. This is stupid. Why do this? Why subjugate your viewers to this shit? I mean, this is a waste of time. This is absolutely stupid. Stuff like this was for the pandemic. That's what that was for, because you had no live crowd. And even if you did, it was just a very small crowd at best. But that was when they had no crowd during the pandemic. That makes no sense. This is a waste of time. Seriously? Oh my God, this is just so damn stupid. I hate shit like this. Absolutely dumb. A waste of time. Why can't we just do like a 10-man tag? Tornado tag style. I mean, that would be a whole hell of a lot better than Stadium Stampede. Oh my God. Oof. So we don't have any idea who's going to be able to team with the Blackpool Combat Club. I can't think of anybody. I really can't. I guarantee it's probably going to be like a Minoru Suzuki or whatever, somebody like that. I don't fucking know. Fuck this shit. Moving on. So, Jim Ross, he's backstage. He's having a sit-down interview with Kenny Omega. Jim Ross talks about... No, my bad. Kenny Omega talks about how Don Callis was always there when he was a kid, and he had a weird childhood with no friends and protein and vitamins. Don's guidance made him the best athlete he can be, and he tries to remember that version of Uncle Don. Kenny says you can choose your friends but not your family, which is 1,000% correct. And he tried to justify what Callis had done, but now he just wants to move on. He talks about him and Tenosuke Takeshita. They go back all the way in DDT in Japan, and he saw a lot of himself in Takeshita, and he has the power to giveth and to take away, and he's going to take Tenosuke Takeshita away and embarrass Don. So then Don Callis pulls up. So immediately Juice Robinson and Jay White, they attack Kenny Omega. They beat him down. They choke him out. They hit him with pipes, ropes and everything. So they kick his ass. So then we go to the quote-unquote hospital, which really is just Hangman Adam Page being, in the AEW parking lot garage with an ambulance there. So Hangman says, if you do a beatdown, it's got to be good. Somebody has to yell Roadhouse, and you have to finish it. And he says Kenny isn't finished, and he's not friendless, because in London, Kenny will have Hangman and Kota Ibushi, and they're going to take out Juice Robinson, Jay White, and Tenosuke Takeshita. So an EMT walks up. He tells him it's a hospital. You can't be drinking the beer. So Page downs the rest of the beer in a gulp, and he passes it to the guy to empty it. So it is what it is. Who cares? Again, this is not really cool for Kenny Omega. It's not good. I'd much rather have Omega Ospreay 3, but they're probably going to say that for New Japan, more than likely. And this 6-man tags aren't really exciting. They're not. They're all the same, regardless of the promotion. They're all the same. I hate 6-man tags. It's like I hate triple threat matches, fatal 4-ways. I mean, they're fun to play in video games, obviously. But in real life, no. I don't like, trios matches and all that. They're extremely boring. This is another match on the card that's going to be 25, 30 minutes because everybody has to get their quote-unquote shit in. Moving on. So, Don Callis says business is business, and he recently was betrayed by Kenny Omega, and he saw what the Jericho Appreciation Society did to Chris Jericho last week. He feels for Chris Jericho. Jericho says what happened last week broke his heart and made him realize a few things. Like maybe he should reevaluate who he is as a person and change some of his ways. Chris Jericho doesn't join factions, he creates them. He said that after what happened last week, his answer to joining the Don Callis family is obvious. It's a yes. And he'll tell you why. When the JS walked out on him, he made him realize he needed to get back to his roots, be more selfish, and align with a man just as low as he is. So, Don Callis, Chris Jericho, they embrace. Don tells him not to waste any more time with the crowd. They're going to go drink, beat up some rednecks in the bar, like they did back in the day. So Chris Jericho says, what's the deal with the painting and the ring? So Don Callis demurs, and Chris Jericho insists and takes the cover off. So it's Don Callis holding Jericho's severed head. I'm like, ooh, kind of eccentric, if we're being honest. That's kind of morbid. Let's just be perfectly honest. That's some real morbid shit right there. I don't know. Don Callis is kind of a weird motherfucker. He might need to check himself into a mental institution ASAP. So Don plays it off as like a joke, but Chris Jericho's not having it. He's upset that Don Callis not only assumed he'd say no, but made it like he was going to be assassinated over it. So Don tries to blame the artist. Chris refuses and says he knows Callis is lying, and he's lying to his face right now. Chris Jericho calls him a scumbag lowlife and demands he be honest with him. So Don Callis begs. So Chris Jericho's not having it. Don admits that he's right. He didn't think in a million years he'd say yes, but not because it wasn't a great opportunity. He thought Jericho would say no because of his massive ego. It's always been about Chris Jericho. In a business full of egomaniacs, he's the biggest, and he doesn't deserve to be part of the Don Callis family. So Chris then says, who the hell does Don Callis think he is? Saying 3 years ago he wasn't even in the business and nobody cared. But because of Jericho, he's in AEW and on top of the world, but nobody still cares, and this is why. He's lost everything. His family, his friends, Kenny Omega. He's messed up every relationship he's ever had because he's a low-life worm, piece of trash asshole. So Don then slaps him, and then Chris Jericho attacks Don Callis, and then Chris Jericho is beat down by Tenosuke Takeshita, who comes in the ring with a steel chair. And then Will Ospreay, he comes out of nowhere, attacks Jericho with the hidden blade. So Jericho's bleeding from the forehead, and then Don Callis then whacks Chris Jericho in the head with the painting, and Sammy Guevara comes out with the baseball bat to make the save. So this is fine, but again, Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho, this seems more like a Dynamite main event, if we're being honest. This is not something that's worth being an all-in. This isn't the Chris Jericho of like 06 or even 2010. Like this isn't that Jericho anymore. I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about this. Don't really care. Will's going to have to work a very slow style It's not going to be as fast-paced like he's been doing with, like, Omega and everybody else. So, I don't know. I mean, it should be okay, but again, this just feels like a Dynamite, just a special episode of Dynamite, if we're being honest. Let's just be real. If you look at this match card on paper, so far, all this stuff just streams a special Dynamite. Like if Dynamite were to do like a 2.5 or 3 hour special on television, this is what it would look like. I don't know. I really don't know. Moving on. So, we get a video package of Jack Perry, his reign as FTW champion. And it features him claiming the title of Mr. Wednesday Night, saying that he's going to get out on top next week, so he's going to retire the title next week. So, I'm pretty sure Hook will probably confront him, and they'll probably add maybe like a last man standing match or something like that, or an I Quit match or whatever, to the match card of All In. Maybe that's what they do. I don't know. They're going to be at All In for sure. That's definitely going to happen. If not All In, definitely All Out. So let's lead us into Darby Allin and Nick Wayne versus the Gates of Agony, which is Bishop Khan and Tola Leona. So the Gates of Agony beat down Darby and Nick Wayne before they could make their entrance. Darby ends up getting the win via the coffin drop. So Sting appears on the Titantron to talk to Swerve. He says that he's directing movies. Sting tells AR Fox he's going to need eyes in the back of his head because they have a coffin match in 9 days at Wembley in front of 80,000 people. His blood cells are ready. His red blood cells are ready. Are already moving. And he grabs his leading man, Prince Nana, to tell him all about it. Prince says it's actually 11 days away, and Sting says the only thing they have to do is say it's showtime. So they're going back to Joker Sting, which he did a lot in TNA Impact, which is kind of cool there. That's fine. Again, this will be fine on Dynamite. Moving on, we have a long promo for Adam Cole and MJF. So we get a video package for MJF and Adam Cole. So MJF, he's directing traffic and says if they're going to beat Ozzy open, they need to get inside their head. So he took them to their Holy of Holies. They're in a sanctum, Outback Steakhouse, which is pretty good. They got some really good shrimp there. Really good shrimp. And crab and lobster. Adam Cole's overjoyed, and Max leaves the restaurant worried that they're going to be unbeatable. Adam Cole follows it up with a crocodile Dundee special. Double feature. And MJF shows a video of kangaroos fighting and promises the kangaroo kicks are going to be their new secret weapon. So they are stalking an inflatable crocodile. They're able to hit a double clothesline to a guy wearing the costume, the crocodile costume. So Tony Khan, we see him. He calls them into their office. He chews them out for double clothesline shenanigans backstage. MJF and Adam Cole are going to... they were going to tell him off, but they were just joking with him. And Tony played like he was going to be like, an actual boss, but they're making jokes of it. The whole thing wasn't a comedy skit, so it was pretty funny for the most part. So then we roll up into the arena in Max's Ferrari, which is nice. So MJF said he had to go take a hot chicken dump. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Come on, dog. Really? So then Roderick Strong, generic white guy, he runs up. kicks the car, he hurts his foot, and the Kingdom try to calm him down, and they go to break. We come back from break. So, MJF and Adam Cole, they greet the crowd. They talk about our All In. Said they're going to win the ROH tag titles on the pre-show. MJF promises to win the kangaroo kick. So a massive kangaroo kick chant breaks out before acquiescing to Adam Cole's call for the double clothesline. Adam Cole talks about the main event. What the main event means to him and how he's been on the top in every promotion he's ever worked in. And this match will cement his legacy. And just not being in it, but winning. He said he loves Max, but he needs to win more than he ever could imagine. And he says, this is a friend out of love. The second the bell rings, he'll do anything and everything to win the title. MJF says that's a great story, but his is better. And he talks about how on his first day of training, he was asked to write down 2 dream opponents. He picked Cody Rhodes and Adam Cole. He talks about putting 90,000 miles on a new truck. I think he said a Ford. And about hearing about the original All In and his journey to AEW. He talks about growing up in front of us into a generational talent, into the devil himself, into one of the best to have ever done it, into the AEW World Champion. And now he gets to main event the biggest show in company history against one of his dream opponents. A man who has become his best friend. And the fact they're going to go down in history, in the books, means so much to him. But it doesn't mean everything to him. And the world title itself means everything to him. And if Adam Cole thinks he's going to lie down for him and take in Wembley, he's out of his goddamn mind. And so MJF continues on and says he loves Adam Cole like a brother, but a win in Wembley will make him legendary, and he will win because no one is on the level of the devil. So then out of nowhere, they bump fist, and then Aussie Open, they attack them. So they attempt to do the double clothesline on Mark Davis, but he dodges out. They try the same for Kyle Fletcher, but Mark Davis saves Kyle Fletcher. Again, Aussie Open are just 2 generic white guys, just boring as fuck. Boring as fuck. No personality, just work rate guys. Oh, boy. Moving on. The segment was very, very long. Again, I'm thinking maybe MJF turns on Adam Cole. More than likely, that's what makes sense. I've heard people online say that maybe MJF will have a new faction. I hope not. I hope he's not going to align himself with Roddy and the Kingdom. That would suck. That would be horrible. That would be worse than the Jericho Appreciation Society. It would be awful. The best faction MJF was in the Pinnacle. That was his best faction. That was it. So hopefully MJF reverts back to his heel ways. Moving on. So Chris Jericho's interview backstage. So a trainer tends to wounds on his head. He's backstage with Renee Paquette. He calls Will Ospreay out and says he doesn't need to hook up with Don Callis to get a match because they're supposed to fight in the Tokyo Dome back in 2021. So now a pandemic can't save him from fighting Chris Jericho on his home turf of Wembley. He's going to drink Will's blood in the middle of the arena, and he knows Ospreay has mental problems, but he's going to beat him down, embarrass him in his home. He's opened hell, and now the Ocho is coming for him. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this shit? Chris Jericho, stop with this shit. You're really creeping me out, dog. Like, stop. Stop. Moving on. Now, this is when shit hit the bed. Like, The last hour of Dynamite was absolutely awful. I didn't really even watch most of it. When I saw Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett, I was just like, oh my God. And they actually did a Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is absolutely fucking stupid. I'm not going to hold you guys up. I didn't even watch the match. I didn't. Jeff Jarrett gets the win. This was just absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. And that belt just looks atrocious. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, this was worse than the Pitch Black match. This was worse than Miz and Damian Priest a couple years back when they did the whole zombie stuff. It was worse than those two things combined. I'm just like, oh my God, what the fuck is AEW doing? I get that you need sponsors and all that, but come on, man. Like, really? Oh my God, this stuff was awful. Continuing on with the show being awful, Dr. Britt Baker versus the Bunny. Britt Baker wins. She qualifies. Like, that's common sense. We didn't need this. This is a waste of time. Moving on. So the Acclaim, they make their entrance. So they do their typical Acclaim gimmick stuff. So they win a squash match against some jobbers. Lights go out. They go dim. House of Black appears. They beat the shit out of the Acclaim. And then they grab the boots of Billy Gunn. And the lights then go back out and they disappear. So that's fine, I guess. Main event. The Gunn Club, which is Austin and Colton Gunn versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. The Young Bucks get the win via a roll-up for the 1-2-3, and they grab the tights. So post-match, Bullet Club Gold comes out to attack the Bucks. They're about to break, I believe it was Nick Jackson's arm again. But FTR come out and make the save. They hit the Shatter Machine on Juice Robinson. And then Jay White dips out. So then FTR and the Young Bucks, they stare each other down. And that was it. I'm just like, oh my God, this show was absolutely awful. Just awful. Just awful. The only good stuff on this show was Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay, as well as Adam Cole, MJF. Again, the all-in card is just shaping up to be an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. I don't know what they can do. I mean, I don't even know if they're going to even bring in Mercedes Moné. I was about to call her Sasha Banks, but I doubt if she'll even go to AEW the way things are. I mean, that women's division is in shambles. Goldberg might make a debut appearance. I've been hearing about that, so that probably will come to fruition. But, you know, everything else on the card just looks like it should be on Dynamite. You know? Just an awful, awful show. But what did you guys think? Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for my videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.